So I'm standing here on a parking lot at Rauðhólar, the Red Hills on the eastern side of Reykjavík, the outskirts of town. It's Sunday and I'm very tired of being cooped up inside in rain and bad weather for the last few days. So I'm gonna go on a slight drive outside of town to the east along the south coast and into the southern highlands and look for a waterfall there called Háifoss, or the Háifoss. Háifoss as in high waterfall. Never been there. It's a bit of a ways inland towards the highlands in the southern region. Let's see how that goes, if the electric car makes it there. Yeah, just go on a little road trip adventure. Also, obviously, or apparently, I'm trying something a little bit new this time around. I'm used to doing these road trips of mine in Icelandic. I'm doing this one obviously in English, my version of English, just as an experiment, playing with the format, you know? It's not really summery weather by any standards yet, but it's getting slightly warmer. It's a bit hazy or misty out, temperature 11, 12 degrees centigrade or so. Anyway, let's head east. We're gonna drive through the small town of Hveragerði, the town of flowers, the biggest flower growing town in Iceland, or the only probably flower growing town, through Selfoss, the next town there. Both great places, by the way, to stop over and grab a bite if you're passing through. And then soon after we go through Selfoss, we're gonna head inland. Not gonna pass by the typical golden circle places of Gullfoss and Geysir. They're slightly, I think, off course for us unless we swing by there on the way back. Who knows? It's an adventure. I have nothing that I need to do today. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Should take an hour and a half or something to drive in there or drive to there. And we're gonna have, of course, since this is mid-June or early June, we're gonna have daylight well into the evening, so we're not gonna be hindered by darkness falling. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Let's head out and drive east. Just as we're passing here down over the heath, over to Hveragerði, down this hill or slope called Kampar, the winding road that leads east down of the mountain. I just want to mention a couple of things. This is of course Hveragerði down there below, and I'm hoping I can be overheard on the microphone over the road noise and the wind. It's sunnier and warmer on this side. It's 13, 14 degrees or so. Just want to mention that down there, they're actually putting up this zip line where you're supposed to be able to fly at high speeds down into the valley below. I think it's bound to or meant to open soon. I really look forward to trying that one out. But as well, just down there, that valley called Þjórsárdalur, it's really an interesting valley to stop by or go for a walk or a short hike. Lots of geothermal small pools and hot springs, and a generally very beautiful area to stop in. So yeah, just thought to stop since I had the moment. And also, as you pass down here, just past this small parking spot, there is a small cleft in the hill on the left-hand side if you're going down the hill, right-hand side if you're going up, where you can look into the cleft, and there's a small hole in the rocks there, and it's traditional as a kind of a sign of good fortune to be able to peek into the hole. So make sure if you're driving past to do so. Let's continue eastwards. Just making a super quick stop in the town of Selfoss, just stocking up on some refreshments, which I've already finished, although I'm just right out of town. And also just making sure that I know exactly which route to take, which small villages I'll pass through on the way inland, because I'll be turning off of the ring road soon and going a path less traveled for myself. When you're just following the ring road, of course, you practically have no way of getting lost. You're just following the road. But once you start driving here into the inland, there are a few options and selections, and I want to make sure I turn on the right side of some of the big rivers. Yeah, I think I found it. Let's continue. Arrived at the crossroads where I turn inland off of the ring road and into the southern inlands. Just as we pass east through Selfoss, there are a couple of interesting things. There's first off, well, a few kilometers east of Selfoss, you come to these hills, and the ring road kind of carves this hill in the landscape. On the left-hand side, if you're driving east, you'll see a sign pointing towards a farm called Ölfusholt. That's a place to visit. It's actually as well a microbrewery, one of the, at least I think one of the absolutely first ones, more enterprising ones, really quality craft microbrewery, and they do have a tap room, so if you're interested in good beer, check them out. Also, you drive past this, I hope I got actually a photo or some footage of it, this charming little farmhouse, which I think is a hotel right now, but actually used to be a women's prison. Yeah, as we pass inland, further inland, we're now driving alongside Þjórsá, one of the big rivers here in Iceland, which flows in the southern part of the country, down from the highlands into the ocean in the south, naturally, and fed by all kinds of tributaries along the way. You can see by the color of the river that it's a glacial river. It has this murky white coloration to it. Also, big bank big string of power lines over there. There's of course a hydroelectric power plant further up towards the highlands, which uses this river as a power source. We're going to continue upwards, I think, or further onwards. I think we have about 30 more kilometers to go until we get to Háifoss. So let's continue. I can feel the pressure of nature calling. I really need to relieve myself. Yeah, so we are getting close. About 10 more kilometers or so to the waterfall. I came here to an upper part of the hydroelectric plant. Some parts of the control of the reservoir, I think. I think the main power station is slightly further down. But this is quite interesting. Obvious that the river is being controlled. All these small streams and eddies and stuff in the water. Also, a really good view of Hekla, one of our most violent volcanoes. Hekla erupts regularly, once every few decades, and spews all kinds of nastiness into the air and the environment. So Hekla is bound to erupt again soon. And slightly further up, something which is an unusual sight in Iceland. There are actually some wind power, what do you call those? Windmills? They're not mills, but those wind power big fan thingies. I know what they're called, I just can't remember it for the, anyway, let's continue onwards. Okay, I'm off the main road, and on the gravel road there was a sign back there which said that it was a bad road or hard to traverse, and it was only for 4x4s, for four-wheel drive cars. So far so good. We're about 2 kilometers in out of the 8 kilometers towards the waterfall. I'm not gonna risk how low this car actually is with the battery on the bottom if this road becomes too coarse. But we'll see. The road is getting a little bit more, we're getting a little coarser. The power lines are extremely low here. You can almost touch them. So I mean, I think we're still good. We're like 1.7 kilometers left to the parking lot or the stop at the end of the road. Maybe not ideal in bad conditions for smaller cars, but manageable at least so far. Okay, I arrived. It was fine. I would maybe not recommend it on like a Toyota Yaris or something, but it's manageable. It's a bit windy up here. This is definitely worth it. I can see the top of the waterfall down there, but just the view down into the valley below the sun in the valley below, it looks pretty nice. That was really nice, even with that one tourist who was continuously trying to kill himself by going way too close to the edge. Almost stumbled once. Even the other tourists were warning him that he was being reckless. Well, I'm gonna head back. I'm not gonna say goodbye yet because I'm maybe gonna stop along some sites on the way. So we're not done. Let's head back down from the mountain, back into the sunlight. This is called Búrfellsvirkjun, virkjun meaning power plant, and it's named after the mountain Búrfell. Oh, yeah, that's the one, Búrfell over there. So Búrfells power plant. There is a place here called Þjóðveldisbærinn, something. I'm gonna check that out, see what that is. Þjóðveldisbærinn, or the Commonwealth Farm, I think they're calling it in English, is a restored or a recreation of an old farmhouse, kind of a living museum of how things used to look like in the area, I think, back in the day. It's unfortunately closed. It's too late. It's closed to 6 o'clock in the afternoon or early evening, and they've already closed the exhibition. So I'm just gonna drive on, see if there's something to see on the way back, and yeah. Let's just check that out. I realized that I'm basically just going the same way back home, so I don't think there are any more interesting locations to stop at. Well, there are plenty of interesting locations to stop at, but none which really don't just warrant their own little episode. So expect me to go out and about in the days, weekends, weeks, somewhere to come and visit some more locations in the southwest. I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Thanks for coming with me on a journey into Þjórsárdalur and up to Háifoss, the waterfall. See you in the next one.